Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. So welcome to the Anahata Heart Chakra Opening series. I'm going to provide some really simple beginner yoga postures and mudras and chants just to work with the process of the healing of awakening the heart. So just to begin with, we come into Anjani Mudra. So this is the 5 fingers here, the 5 senses, and we're bringing it symbolically to the heart center to drop the 5 senses into the heart. This is an act of pratyahara. So we're turning within, we're journeying into the inner space, centering at the heart, the king of all chakras, to focus on this awakening of the heart and our true self, this pure, unconditional love, and the joy that that brings embodied. So this is a practice that is simple, but its element is fire and transmutation. So from here, if you place your hands together, just let the shoulders relax and just start to open to the subtle pathways that are opening through your nadi system into the plexus of the Anahata heart chakra. So just sort of feeling that sense of centering, consolidation. From that mudra, we just slide the thumbs together into this Garuda, like wings of the heart. Dropped, stilled, nurturing, allowing this feeling of consolidation, centering. And as you begin your practice, just let the breath enter and leave the body naturally at first, exactly as it is. And as you breathe in, this sense of just breathing in love. And as you breathe out, allowing that radiance of light to just emanate. And then if you'd like to work with the mudra, you might also like to work with the mantra, the nada yoga aspect. So the sound that you can use is just internal japa mantra, ma on your in-breath, om on your out-breath. So ma means unconditional love. Om is light or truth. So as you breathe in now, breathing into your heart, but also then letting it just seep and saturate into every cell, charging with a sense of pure divine love. Ma on the in-breath, Om on the out-breath. Ma on the in-breath, Om on the out-breath. This is imparted from my teacher Amma, who offers this as the basic mantra, really to facilitate surrender and awakening the heart, awakening to the divine. So you let yourself go into a sort of trance state with this and take your time. Ma on the in-breath, Om on the out-breath, Ma on the in-breath, Om on the out-breath. So I'll be demonstrating these postures fairly swiftly, but you want to take some real time with each of them and feel their subtle benefit in the awakening, the opening of the lotus of the heart. So after a while, you'll feel like you can let the mantra just take you into that stillness, that silence, that origin of peace that is your true nature. And from here, you can set the mudra free and just let the wings spread and open wide, stretch out. You're thereby also opening up the heart meridian lines that run to the little fingers. So allowing that sort of lymph system pump from the lymph nodes here to open up. Press the heart forward as you sort of release the thoracic and looking up, opening up the throat, breath in. Ma on the in-breath. Om. Rounding the spine to release the back of the heart, which is traditionally known as the spiritual heart, the gateway to the divine. If the front seems more like the human emotional center, the back is like the doorway to that infinite, pure love opening. So we're just releasing the spine at the thoracic, opening with Ma, closing with Om. Chin to the chest, tongue to the roof of the mouth, and Jalandhara Bandha. Inhale. Just saying yes, like a somatic yes, just opening to what is, whatever's there, the rawness, our vulnerability, our fragility, our emotional volatility. Opening to it. Exhale, releasing, letting go. And continuing this wave-like vinyasa flow for some time. And you might start to feel an ache in the arms, and that's good as the blood starts to pump, those pathways start to open and release. But without hunching your shoulders up, try to keep the shoulders releasing down from the ears as you open and you close at your own rhythm, allowing a fluid movement through as you trace through the space. From here we need to sort of open up our lung energy a little bit to support. The Anahata chakra also rules over the lungs as well. And it says, you know, when the lung points are congested, we can feel a lot of grief, or it's because of karmic grief that these can get digested. So let's just create a little opening first of all with a tap and a long sigh out. And you can take these points here just off the shoulder joint here, these dips here, they might feel a bit tender, getting a little bit of lymph pumping there. And then take it to the chest, a bit like Tarzan, and use the sound. Just releasing congestion, holding tension, protection, armoring, defense that we can hold in the heart from all our hurts and all our wounding, and the sense of just sort of loosening it all up, getting the chi, the prana flowing here, and then just literally spreading the fascia at the chest. So actively just teasing the fascia opening, pressing the heart forward, and release out again here by just making little circles. Letting the breath lead the movement, and you can continue with the mantra throughout if that feels supportive for you. Just ma on the in-breath, om on the out-breath. So you're moving in more of a meditative way, consciousness fully occupying the form. You're not trying to attain these big sort of outer yang postures here in this particular practice of the heart. It's very subtle, very deep, very nurturing. And these circles can be small, or you can make them a little bit bigger. You can feel the energy going down to the fingertips, flushing down those lines. And once we feel the chest is a bit open, the lungs are more open, then we can take a little respiratory pose to spiral, to grow that arm like a branch all the way to the sky. Releasing the wrist as you go to the fingertips, looking up, it's like twinkling leaves on the tip of a tree. Inhale. Exhale, folding to your side like you're slowly slipping with your back along a wall, so that we don't let that shoulder drop down and closing the heart, restricting the chest. Keep that opening. If you need to make a little circle there in the shoulder girdle, keep that side stretch, breathing the side body open, release the head. Inhale. All the way out. Exhale. Inhale, spiral the right hand all the way up. Inhaling a little bit more, releasing the wrist, and exhale, slide into the left. Without the dropping forward, take a little shoulder roll, open up that shoulder girdle, and stretching out, keeping the right sit bone grounded, the glutes engaged to the earth as you open up the side body. Optimizing your breathing, inhale your way back up, possibly using Ma. And then from here, you can release your legs out. And just make some little ankle rolls both ways. And you come into a digestive pose, just sitting as a warming up for the little back bends. So forward and back here, rolling out the spine. I'll just demonstrate that side on. So you are placing your hands on these kidney meridian lines on the top of the thigh. Take an inhale. Lift the belly to the heart. Open the heart space. Release the shoulders down. Opening up the throat. Inhale, full, let your neck nestle in the shoulders. The head is supported. Inhaling all the way, pressing the heart forward. Exhale. Now I won't demonstrate this because of pregnancy, but you can engage Uddiyana Bandha and release the spine, pressing the back of the heart to round open, and roll your arms in to open the back of the heart space. So we don't just think about the heart at the front, or it's just that physical organ. We're able to recognize it as a doorway, a gateway to that infinite potential that we are. So as you open the back of your heart, you're unlocking that sort of restriction and tension and rounding that we can get into as habits as human beings. Inhale, open, exhale, release. Ma on the in-breath, Om on the out-breath. And you continue that really a slow, nurturing pace. The rhythm is really important to take your time there until you feel that fluidity in the spine and the release of the thoracic spine. And you really feel the chest cavity open there with the breath. So the breathing is key. Even if you choose to calibrate and make very minimal movements, the breath, the pranayama, is the essential riding rhythm, that energy of life, opening the area that might have been tight and protected and constricted. So from here we have the same principle of this opening, but we're going to just take the left hand all the way up and come into Garuda arms and wrap around. Maybe our palms come to connect or thereabouts. Slide the shoulders away from your ears. And you feel those lines opening again, the meridian lines down through the arms. And breathe. Ma on the in-breath, Om on the out-breath. Ma on the in-breath, Om on the out-breath. We go the other way, opening wide, spreading your wings. Exhale. Slide the elbows down towards the heart. Inhale. Exhale. Ma. And then from here, just opening a lotus. You start with a bud. This is sort of, it's analogous to you, how you are, this sense of like being a bud that is just blossoming into a full, open-hearted lotus. So we start with the fingers together like this and just allow opening of the mudra into the full lotus, with the intention to just gather the nectar, like a flower here is just offering itself in surrender, to be open for the honeybee. So this feeling now is just allowing that radiance to radiate out and rise up. Think of the stalk of the lotus rooting down through the mud. And as you take a deep inhalation, rising up, all the way up, press your hips forward, and we come through Ustrasana, the camel pose, as we open the heart here, ground your shins down, bringing the knees hip-width apart. Start to press the hips forward, squeezing the inner core, so you'll engage the core through adduction. You can feel this, your adduction is engaged to support you to rise up, lift out of your lumbar, don't just lock back. Lift up, space in the lower spine, rising up. This full open lotus to come into this variation of camel. And you just take it as far as you want. Maybe it's just a very minimal opening or very deep, up to you. And you feel this slight pulsing, so you can come out and go back in, or you can pause there and take your time. But then from here you open wide and take the hands deeply round and place the hands down, so the entire palms are on the kidney areas as you press and lift the navel to the heart, open the heart, and support that nurturing back bend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, perhaps using Ma as you take your time. You could be a good sort of 4 minutes in this pose, perhaps revisiting and sort of like undulating, so you have this sort of rhythm that opens you up and you deepen each time. Don't feel you have to lock or hold, keep it alive, opening the lower back, but really opening, lifting the heart up to the sky. Keep the sense of elevation, not just locking back. From Ustrasana here, with a little bit more open our back bend, you could choose if you wanted to come into the full connection with the palms to the soles of the feet, and maybe begin with this one hand rising, stretching up in Jnana Mudra, symbolic gesture of wisdom, rising over like a geyser or fountain. If that feels good, then maybe you like to come onto the other side, and then you like to come to both together, palms meeting the soles of the feet, press the hips forward, engage the glutes, release the head. Take your time breathing here as the glutes really support the lower back in that back bend. From mistrustina, we're going to come into demonstrating another form of a back bend. So I'll just transition to that. If you'd like to just pull out the flesh from under your sit bones, pull out the calves and roll them out. You can come to sit on the ground if that's too much. If you have knee injuries, you could take a block and place it under so you're higher off. So from here, the heels are quite in, the feet aren't turned out, but you can be risen off so it's supportive. And we can go through the same sort of variation, calibrating, opening. As we come from lightning bolt, Vajrasana, we come into Supta Virasana, lifting the hips up, opening, lifting the heart, the belly to the sky, placing the palms on the feet and resting your forearms on the ground, releasing the head. Pressing the heart again as a chest opening, preparation towards fish pose. So you can stay here for a good time. If it feels good, you can come all the way down to the ground and raise your hands over the head and then breathe into the heart chakra focus. Take your time here in this restorative yin pose. And if you really feel that's too much in that way, you can, of course, come into a variation where you bring your legs out in front of you. And once you come into this posture, it's just a variation of Matsyenasana, fish pose, toes facing down, and essentially just slide your palms underneath you and open your chest in this way and let the head hang as you press the heart up to the sky and really work the chest open with a focus on that chakra, Anahata chakra opening, releasing. So that can be a nice variation for you if you didn't want to do the Supta Virasana. So from here we're going to do a deeper opening. Now we're a little bit warmed up in our lower back. So I'm going to get Will to demonstrate this for you. This is coming into Dharanasana, which is the bow pose. So you'd like to start on your bellies. And essentially, first of all, just relaxing the glutes and firing the navel in towards the earth. Take a deep breath in, and we'll come up first of all through Sphinx pose. So Will's going to bring his elbows in, alignment to his wrists, start to engage the palms and the knuckles down as he presses his way up, first of all through the upward motion of Bhujangasana, and then coming up off your elbows, press a little bit higher. And with Bhujangasana, you bring your elbows in and you start to just slide, intending to draw the lats down the back, opening the chest, focus on Anahata chakra. And you can just keep your head neutral if you wanted to, if you've got tenderness in your neck. From Bhujangasana, press all the way up into Urdhva Mukha, which is coming up into the upward dog. You straighten your arms, lift your quads off the ground, lift your knees off the ground, curling your toes under. No, not full Ardha, just this one, that's it. And just keeping this lifted here. So this is the upward facing dog. And from here you can still feel it's working the chest open, releasing the shoulders down, engaging the lats. Lower back is really supported at the core, and you can feel you're pressing back into your heels as you open up your chest. So once it's warmed up here, you can go in and out, just try and practice with that. Then we'll be ready for coming into the integration, first of all, of course, go through the heart opening lines of coming through Anahata. So if you'd like to place your hands together in Kali Mudra. And for some of us, you might not want to look forward, depends how your neck's feeling. We're going to start to direct the heart chakra in towards the chest. If possible, looking forward as you straighten your arms, and so we get this release at the thoracic and the heart lines open all the way through to the little fingers. So the main focus is the heart sinking towards the ground. You can relax into your lower back a little bit more and draw back. So if that feels too much, you can demonstrate also with just your forehead on the ground. But you are feeling this release here. You can feel it in the triceps as well, but you feel that meridian lines opening. So very powerful for the heart opening. Once we come through here, then we just want to loop your hands through one side to open up that heart meridian line. This is demonstrating the Ganesh pose. So you might just do one first and then the other hand. But Will's demonstrating both together. So as the palms face up, these are like the ears of Ganesh. And the focus then, we need to use the mantra aloud this time. We're going to use the actual seed sound for Anahata chakra, which is Yam, Y-A-M. So Will, if you start to intone that aloud as you focus. Sound, sonic healing, Nadi yoga to open and awaken that area. So I'm very restricted, we have a lot of computer strain and stress there. So it's just to open and flower that center. And if you like to swap your arms round, and you can adjust as well, we might start high and go lower. You can play around with which way it's going to release which part of the thoracic you need to give yourself like a chiropractic adjustment. But the main thing is the palms facing up, stretch them up as far as you can to open through these lines. The drishti focus is here at the heart, flowering. His forehead is resting on the ground because that's okay for him, because some people you might like to have a block, but you don't want the neck to be like this, you want the neck to be loose, either hanging or resting on a support blanket. So from here you can really take your time, then we're going to be open enough that you can just take your hands out in front of you. And we're warmed up to come into Dhanurasana, which is what this is preparation towards. So if you'd like to come in really slowly, we'll bring your feet up first of all. Start to engage the navel down into the ground, sealing it there. Bring your hands now back and holding onto the ankles. If that's too much for you, you can hold onto your toes. But we want to keep the integrity of hugging everything into the midline, knees towards each other. Powering up from the core, take a breath into the belly, filling that breath and letting it open up through the heart as you look up and press the feet back. And as you start to press the feet back, you're leveraging these straight arms to open up the chest. And if you like to do a rocking motion, men often don't, but you can open the chest in this way with some even breath, or keeping stillness in this posture as you like. You might just come in for a few moments, go back out, and then come back in. See how it feels for you to just play around with it, to keep it fluid. This is like the archer's bow. So when you come in again, you might notice you can go a little bit deeper. So if you rest for a moment, the second time you come in, you might notice your thighs are able to come off the ground more, your feet are able to go higher, you're able to look up so that your energy goes up. Breathing the heart space open, so just to demonstrate that, so imagining someone's catching you at the heart and spreading it wide, opening the chest. Doesn't need to be long, do it with evenness of breath, and then release. When you come down out of this one, a nice way to release is just letting the glutes wobble, rocking side to side to release the lower back. Take your time there in that restorative position. It's very grounding, nurturing to lay with your belly on the earth. And make sure your head releases both ways. So if he's facing this way now, you can turn the other way. Also, your heels are out, so your toes are facing in. This enables the sacrum to flower and open, so we're not pinching in there. Everything relaxing until it's really soft in there. Then we can see if we're open to try a full wheel, which we'll be demonstrating as well. So if you like to roll onto your back very slow. Before wheel, there's a preparation towards this. We're going to do a little Setu Bandhasana, a little bridge. And we can start with a version and give calibrations for. First of all, we'll see if your hands can come to your ankles. And you can gently take hold of your heels. Your knees are hip width apart, and they want to try and keep you engaged towards each other. So everything's again hugging into the midline. When he feels ready, he's going to create traction for the heart meridian lines here to traction out the arms and slide your shoulders away from your ears by keeping hold of the ankles as he rises up into the little bridge. This is releasing the psoas, opening the diaphragm, opening the chest. So he works as high as he can, but keeping the knees in towards each other. And the main thing is here, you're seeing these arms are straight, and this little traction here is really flooding the heart meridian lines to open. Then the focus, the drishti, comes to the heart, spreading the heart open. If you feel capable of it, it can be nice to use that same mantra. If you want to try, do it one more time with that yan. Sometimes you notice a deeper opening, a subtle and an emotional release happen as well. You can dislodge any of the sort of psychological, emotional tension patterns of the heart as well, being willing to work with that as we go through this heart chakra opening practice. To allow the waves to come through as you feel that tenderness sort of flowering. So from this little bridge, we might be ready to come into a variation of Dharana, a variation of wheel. So if you place your hands over your head and heels of the hands are facing away, try to have it so the elbows draw in, and you can imagine there's a belt here connecting them. The same with the knees almost. We want to feel that the knees are sliding away, and you want it to be so that your hands could have touched your heels. So you know the right position is that the ankles are beneath the knees. So maybe take your feet a little bit more away now. And the feet are parallel. Just check if your feet are turning out. If you're kind of going pronate or supinate, just notice that, because you might be pinching your sacrum. Create space there, parallel feet, ground through your feet and your hands. Feel that plugging in, and then start to unzip the spine from the earth as you tilt the pelvis, rolling the pelvis to rise the pubic bone all the way up. And the rest, the lumbar and thoracic, follow. This might be enough. If possible, you start to press your hands into the ground and press. Mostly, first of all, we like to be on our heads to begin with. That can stimulate this pituitary gland, this pineal gland, which could be really good. But if you feel tender in your neck, don't rest on your head first. And then you start to press all the way up. You might have to keep your elbows bent. You might be able to straighten them, but you might like to come onto your toes as well. So try that variation as well, Will, to see if that eases it a little bit more for you. No. So just trying little test of variations to play with it and explore. Maybe the arms over time will unlock and they can open and straighten. Maybe you want to try coming onto your toes. But it doesn't have to be for long, just sort of flow with it, test the water, and then go back in. But let the breath lead the movement, empowering the movement from the heart, rising up, pressing into the palms, directing the knees forward away from the head, so you create a lot of space here through the spine as it's arching. And coming down. If it feels nice for you to counter pose after this, you could just take your knees to your chest and take a little hug and just take a little rocking motion side to side or forward and back as you feel. Evening the breath, regulating the breathing movement. And from here, you're just going to roll onto your right side, rest in a fetal position for a moment in this sort of nurturing, very yin, childlike position, taking your knees to your chest, breathing into the back of the heart, the drishti focus here in Anahata chakra. Once you've lain in this position for a little bit, then you're ready to roll onto your back again, and we'll do the last heart opening stretch out. So if you place your toes on the ground and straighten your legs. Drawing here. And we're going to lift up by pressing your hands into the ground and start to straighten your legs this time. A little bit more, yeah. Now you can come onto your hands, so we can start with the elbows bent and then press them straight. So that essentially we come into this final position here, but get there in a slow, progressive way. And then we focus on opening the heart as you ground the toes down. So, toes grounding to the ground, heel of the hands turned away, palms plugged into the earth as your fingertips are facing towards your glutes. Check that the wrists are below the shoulders if possible, taking an external rotation to open up top palms, open the chest, press the heart forward, let the heart lead the movement. Inhale, pressing up, releasing the head all the way. Engaging the glutes, keep pressing a little bit more, focusing with the breath. Maybe you can use the mantra. So from here, we can just swap our legs round and we'll come into the final closing for the heart chakra. So a nice lunge can be really good for this. So you can have the back knee down on the ground, front leg step forward so the knee is over the ankle. Take an inhale with open palms. It's like the warrior calling for grace, to be an open channel, temple for the divine. Take an inhale, rise up, maybe little crescent moon to bend back, opening the heart all the way out through your hands into the expression of life. Inhale, exhale, sealing at the heart. Inhale, full circle this time, opening those heart radiant lines. And exhale, seal at the heart, close the eyes maybe. Inhale, rise up, full circle, stretching out. And we do this obviously on both sides, taking your time. Plugging the hand down, we're just going to create a little chest opener. So take the back heel off, knee off the ground, two-way forward, stretching back into that back right heel, stretching forward with the left knee. Taking an inhale, once you have this two-way stretch, then you can place the knee down. Maybe you have some padding or you've doubled up your yoga mat for your knee. Rise up, tracing a full circle on Jnana Mudra. Following the drishti, so the sight follows where the hand mudra is, all the way back, notice the chest opening. As you're spinning around, releasing the thoracic as well. Exhale. Inhale, you can let the front foot roll out onto its blade edge. Inhale, exhale, so you can hear your own breath. And obviously going both ways here to really take it far back. If that feels okay for you, you want to try another variation, a little bit deeper. Most of you might not like that one, but you can have it as an option. Forearm faces the front of the yoga mat. You let the blade edge of that front foot roll out. Take an inhale. Again, full circle round. This time, there's enough space there to perhaps catch the foot, or if you'd like to use a belt, wrap it around the foot and roll that shoulder open to open the chest. Focus is still at Anahata, opening the chest, rolling that shoulder back to catch the foot. If that feels comfortable, you can seal the foot towards the glutes, bending at the elbow, looking now the drishti at the elbow. Taking a deep breath here as you lunge, you're releasing the quads, opening chest with the breath, and drawing back, taking a bow, and we close in child pose and sealing our practice as we turn within. So from this variation of child's pose, Balasana, place your left thumb to left hand over the right. Thread the palms through, again releasing the shoulders away from the ear. Sometimes sort of backed up emotion and congestion system makes us rise our shoulders up. So you want to have this sliding down effect and thread the hands through the legs, taking the knees fairly wide, and you can just rest the cheek on the ground. And let the sit bones sink towards the heels. You can use a pillow under here, or a bolster can feel nice to use a restorative flow, and then just sink into your bolster as you stretch your legs. And if you were using a bolster, your hands would be just nesting it round like a baby koala bear. You'd let that bolster or a big rolled up blanket or cushions wrapped in a yoga mat, that can work as well, threaded through the legs, and you just rest there in that restorative opening, releasing the back of the heart, coming into the Ma Om breath. So it would just be something like this. Imagine the bolsters between me. Or we'd have our hands threaded through to rest in one side of the cheek, then turn to rest the other to release the neck, the cervical spine both ways. This posture can be done in a very yin yoga way, so you could give it a good 5 minutes to just sink into the benefits of alasana as the thoracic spine opens, the back of the heart, bringing in the full focus, the drishti and the meditation, the feeling the flowering of that lotus at the back of the heart opening. So from there we can seal our practice with a chant. You might like to come to sitting in a comfortable sukhasana position, or you might like to just do this, sealing this in shavasana lying on your back. So the Lokal Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which I began with, is a prayer, it's a metta prayer, which means may all beings be free from suffering, may all beings be happy. So as we do this, we want to actively bring someone we love into our heart, or world situation, something we really want to direct this pure unconditional love to for healing and for resolution. But it also might be as an act of forgiveness, for where we have to forgive ourselves and we can visualize ourselves there, or for another person, so that the heart really can move forward and open to the fullest capacity of human life, which is this pure unconditional love, to be lived embodied through our humanness, this selfless principle. So if you'd like to make a very strong sankalpa, sound resolve, to bring in someone to your heart with any of those focuses, or prayer and intention, and seal them as if it was that you're just cupping them in the bud of this pure, innocent intention. And you're holding them into the heart, but it's more than just your human heart, it's dropping into that divine heart. You felt that back opening, it's like your wings opening the thoracic spine. That was the gateway to the divine heart, the spiritual heart. So sinking in, dropping internally into that center. We'll come into Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Take a deep inhale. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Hasatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri